Hi everyone, welcome back to Parenting Insight. My name is Esther. Today we're going to discuss the second of four stages of cognitive development, still according to psychologist Jean Piaget. And this stage is known as pre-operational stage. Now, pre-operational stage caters for children from 2 to 7 years. And because 2 to 7 years is a very huge age gap, it's broken down into two sub-stages. So today we're going to focus on the first sub-stage, that is for covering children from 2 to 4 years. So the first sub-stage is called the symbolic function sub-stage, and it has two key characteristics. Children between 2 to 4 years, as far as cognitive development is concerned, there are two key characteristics that are quite evident. One of them is egocentrism, where a child is unable to differentiate between their perspective and somebody else's perspective. So basically, it's difficult for the child to see from somebody else's point of view. And the second stage is animism, where children sometimes get confused and they think that inanimate objects actually experience human emotions. Like they might think that their doll is sad, or that their dinosaur is having a bad morning. So they're not able to tell the difference between humans and non-humans. So two key characteristics: symbolism and animism. I find this very key in terms of understanding children between ages 2 to 4 years, because part of the reason why even children in this age group have a hard time relating with each other and in terms of like having empathy, again, is because of egocentrism, the inability to put themselves in somebody else's shoes and be able to imagine what it must feel like for the next person. That is why a child can hit another child and they're not able to empathize with the reality that they're hitting the other child hurt them and cause them pain. And so when, for example, a parent or a teacher is trying to tell the child to apologize for what they did, you can tell there's an emotional disconnect. When children, for example, have a hard time sharing toys, it's because it's difficult. The reason why we as adults are able to be kind sometimes is because you can be able to think of the other person, what it would feel like for them to lack. You can be able to imagine yourself in their situation and empathize that it's not an easy situation and be able to share. So for children, because it's difficult for them to walk in another person's shoes, they see the world from their point of view. Okay, so one of an example that you can try to do at home with children, if you have children between ages 2 to 4, is something that I'm going to demonstrate. So these are two items. I have a toy car and I have a crepe flower. I've just used this as a barrier, and then you can actually ask the child to sit. You can this is a small space, so excuse my small demo, but you can basically sit at a table with a child and ask them to sit on this side and ask them to explain what they see. So for example, if a child who I'm working with is seated on this side, they will be able to tell me that they see a car. Now, if I ask them to walk around to my side, this is best done where, where the child is seated across from you, like for example, a table, a dining table or something like that. And then I ask them to walk around to my side and sit and explain what they see on my side. Now, on my side, they're supposed to explain that they see a flower, okay? I try to use very different things because at first I wanted to use one of the train carriages, and then I realized for some children, because a train and a car is sort of in the category of transport, they might confuse. So it's important sometimes to try and make sure that the items do not have any relation with each other, so that a child is not confusing the functionalities of those things, because they seem to have a few characteristics, like between a car and a train, they have wheels, or they are modes of transport. So a child might get a bit confused, but when you use a car and a flower, there's no relation. Okay, so the child comes to my side and I ask them what they see, and they tell me ideally that they see a flower. Now, so basically we swapped sides. So when the child comes to my side, now I walk to the side where they were seated, and I ask them what they think I see. And it's not a surprise if the child is seated on my side where I see the flower. If I walk to the side where they were previously seated and where I should be able to see a car, if I ask the child what they think I see, they're bound to tell me that they think I see the flower. This is just to demonstrate and to show that egocentrism, the car has fallen, that egocentrism is real, that they're not able to see the world from somebody else's view, because if they could, then they would be able to know that even if they see the flower, because now they're on the side where they're supposed to see the flower, I see something different because I'm on the other side, but they don't remember that because they left the car. So now I should be seeing the world from the perspective where what I see is a car. So the beauty of doing such experiments, so to speak, with children is because we start to appreciate that they're not just trying to be stubborn. When a child has a hard time understanding why they need to apologize for hitting another child, I know we still have to teach them empathy and we still have to reinforce positive behavior. But when a child is having a hard time sharing and not understanding why they need to share with the next child, or when a child is having a hard time understanding that we as parents are tired, so you keep telling a child that, you know what, we cannot do this because I'm tired, and they keep repeating and they keep asking for the same thing, and at some point it can get irritating because we expect that they connect emotionally with the word tired, with what it means, but they're not able to do that. They're not able to understand that we have been toiling at work or at home all day and serving them and also doing so many other things, and that we are tired because they're not able to see the world from our point of view. So egocentrism is one of the key characteristics that totally shifts how we interact with children, how we handle children, how much empathy we accord them when we are understanding their behavior. And that this has also been very crucial even in my parenting journey, just being able to understand that sometimes they don't mean to be rude or difficult or not understanding. Sometimes it's just they're not able to see the world from my view or from somebody else's view, even from a fellow child. Okay. The second characteristic is animism, where they're not able to understand that there are things they know not, that there are things that are living and things that are not living, but sometimes that line gets a bit hazy. And one of the things that I find interesting to describe this is cartoons. When, like, for example, a child is watching a cartoon or an animation, and sometimes they get so absorbed in trying to copy what that, for example, animal character is doing, that they forget that it's not real. So just because Spider-Man can fly in real life, Spider-Man doesn't exist, and so in real life they cannot try to jump off a balcony because they will not fly like Spider-Man. And this is one of the things that makes it, I think if we as parents understood this part of child brain development, cognitive development, then we are able even to be more cautious in terms of what we allow them to consume, in terms of screen time, whatever we expose them to. Just the understanding that when you watch something like a cartoon, and for you it's entertainment, you're able to separate reality from something that's not reality. And for children, that line can get very hazy, especially with repeated exposure, where they see it so much that it becomes like a reality in their minds. So symbolism and animism, that word, are two key characteristics of cognitive development, stage 2, sub-stage 1. Remember that because cognitive development is progressive, there was a first stage, which was sensory motor stage, where they were dealing with a different way of understanding the world. Now they're using symbolism and they're using animism to understand the world. And doesn't mean that they're still not using, because remember, it's cumulative. It's as they grow older, they add on to whatever they're already using in the early years. So from birth to 2 years, we're using a lot of senses and a lot of movement. It doesn't mean that now because they're 2 to 4, they are not using their senses and movement. It means on top of using their senses and movement, touching, walking, running, exploring, on top of that, there's now how they process the world around them, because a 2 to 4 year old child will probably be in daycare or kindergarten. It means that they're interacting now with other children, and it means that there's some social skills that you'd go to a space where there are children of this age, and you can tell there's a certain level of empathy, a certain level of teamwork that they're not able to do simply because of their inability. Part of being a good team player is being able to appreciate other people's experiences and feelings. And this is an acquired developmental milestone. Part of them and enjoying, playing with toys and other things that they may be attached to is because for them animism is real, that they may actually be attached to these animals or whatever it is that they love, because they value those things not just as items but as creatures that have feelings, that have emotions, that can be their friends and so forth. So I hope that this video has shed some light on this first sub-stage of the second stage of cognitive development. Thank you so much as always for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you can get to know when we post more on cognitive development and so many other topics. Don't forget to like this video if you feel that it was informative and helpful, and don't forget to share your comments, your questions, your experiences, and let us know what you would like us to address, and we will be glad to do that. So thank you so much, and see you on the next one.